Why did I buy a $5,000 iMac Pro? Hey there friends on YouTube, my name is Jason, sometimes known as the JTL. This is Painfully Honest Tech. So honest it hurts. If this is your first time here, thank you for stopping by. If you've been here before, then I appreciate you coming back. Welcome to all the new people. Welcome to all the old people. Hey, look, I'm standing up. It's the first video I've ever done standing up. And I'm doing it so that I can explain to you all the things that went into me buying an iMac Pro. So, in order to fully understand, I'm going to tell a little story. We got to go all the way back to 2016, about July 2016, when I decided that I was going to start to take YouTube a little bit more seriously. I wanted to do at least 3 videos per week. And that was my goal through the end of 2016. What I discovered was I didn't really have a computer at the time that would be able to help me realize that goal. So I decided, knowing what Mac prices were, etc., although I do prefer Macs over PC for productivity work, I decided to go ahead and build myself a PC. And that was kind of what I worked with throughout the rest of that year and into the middle of the next year. Premiere Pro, though, if you've used it, you might be familiar with the fact that sometimes it can just be a little buggy, and there would be many times where I would ask Premiere Pro to do something like output a video or play the video that I'm trying to edit, and it just wouldn't do it. So then I'd have to uninstall the program, I'd have to reinstall the program, I'd have to preferences, blah, 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 blah. Look at the internet for all these different things that I needed to look at, and I just got really frustrated with Premiere. So when the 2017 iMacs came out, I decided that I was going to go ahead and get one. I got the base model at $1,800, and I was going to go back to using the Mac, where I was much more comfortable with productivity stuff, where I had done a lot of work over the years. Everything was fine for a short period of time, but then I started to have issues with the Bluetooth. The Bluetooth that connected the Bluetooth peripherals that Apple ships with the iMacs would oftentimes come unconnected entirely, and I just really didn't understand how that could be possible or why that should be possible. And then I looked online and found that it's a somewhat regular issue. I decided to sell it and go back to the PC and try to build a Hackintosh, which was a complete and total failure. Now, for those of you out there who's saying Hackintosh isn't all that hard, you're right. It's not all that hard, but here's the thing. If I'm making, at this point, 4 to 5 videos per week, and I have to spend a big portion of my time trying to get stability out of the machine that I'm using, it just doesn't work. I went back to the PC. I upgraded to the 32 gigs of RAM, which I thought would help, and I sort of just went with that for a little while, but I still was not satisfied. I still was not getting the kind of work done that I felt like I needed to be getting done. But the thing is, I do everything on my channel by myself. So if I have to fight with the computer to get it to do something, nothing else gets done. And that really puts a little hitch in my giddy-up, as they say. I just needed to work seamlessly so that I could move through the projects and keep the channel going. And the PC thing was working out okay for a while. Adobe Premiere Pro was still a problem. I decided, and I just could not get it to work seamlessly. I also do music production and have done since the early 2000s when I started doing audio engineering. And Macs have always just, at least for me and for a lot of other people I think, just worked better for productivity. I was having trouble with the PC recognizing my outboard gear. I was having trouble with the PC recognizing the cam link that I use to do live streams. I was just having a lot of trouble. So every time I sat down at the computer, I'd have to futz with things to get them going. This is about spring of 2018, and I decided that I was going to have to stretch my budget beyond $2,000 if I was going to have a hope of getting something that could really help me do the work that I need to do. I decided to extend my budget. I got a 2017 MacBook Pro. Then it had keyboard problems, and I'd only had it for a week, so I returned it. And I got a Surface Book, $2,500 worth of Surface Book, and it started just randomly shutting down. So then I got another Surface Book, and it started not recognizing when the screen was replaced back onto its dock to make it a laptop again. So I took that back, and finally I got another 2017 MacBook Pro, and seemingly this machine was fine. I was doing the work that I needed to do. I was getting things done. So leading up to July, we had planned to move into another house, my family and I, and there's always expense that goes along with that. There's always last minute things that happen that you're just not quite ready for. And that happened to us close to the last minute of our purchase. And to be safe, to make sure that we had the money, I had to sell that 2017 MacBook Pro. And I was back to PC again. But once we got everything figured out and back on track, I was able to go and get a 2018 MacBook Pro with an i7 chip. You know, they're super powerful, blah, blah, blah. Then there were more problems. First off, I have a mic that sits right by the computer so I can do recording, so I can do these videos. And whenever I would do anything somewhat intensive with that MacBook Pro, the fans would spin up and the noise would be picked up on my microphone, and it would be just like there's a constant hiss underneath everything that I'm doing, and that is very frustrating, especially on a Pro machine. Not only that, it suffered from some heat issues, which probably led to the fan blowing, and I just wasn't happy with that purchase. And at that point, I was at a loss. I didn't know what to do because I had bought the most expensive computer that I could possibly buy with that MacBook Pro, and it still wasn't working out. And everything that I'd heard about the i9 chips just wasn't happening. So I had to figure out something else. I figured at that point I just had to bite the bullet. I went back to the Apple Store with the MacBook Pro. I traded it in, and I had to do some real finagling to make this work, but you know, I had gift cards from returning the MacBook Pro. I had a gift card that we purchased with our bank account. I had another credit card and another debit card and a $10 bill. I was able to stretch all that together to get the iMac Pro. Bought the iMac Pro 1 week ago today. What has been my situation or experience since that time? I've done multiple live streams and it hasn't even acted like it knew that was happening. I have edited and released several videos and it has not acted like that was even happening. In fact, if you're familiar with Final Cut Pro, which is what I'm using now, I'm editing these videos and outputting in ProRes. These ProRes files come out to be like 16 to 18, maybe 20 gigabytes in size, which if I would have seen that with one of my previous machines, I would have been like, oh my God, this is going to take forever. And that's kind of what I expected with the iMac Pro, but the iMac Pro was rendering ProRes footage, 16 to 20 gigabytes worth of ProRes footage. It would get it done in literally less than 2 minutes. Then I'd put it through a compressor that would take a few minutes, and then I would upload it to YouTube, and it was the most freeing feeling of my life to just have everything work as it's supposed to work. This iMac Pro has not skipped a beat since I got it. No Bluetooth problems, nothing at all. I haven't heard it make a noise. Fans, if they kicked up at all, I have never heard them. I bought the base model, which of course is $5,000. I got it because I work for a university. I got it at the education discount, which was $45.99, but still, it is an incredible amount of money to put into one thing if you're not buying a car. And I have never spent that much money on a computer in my life, and nor did I ever think that I would. But I have to say, this base model with the base specs is doing everything that I need it to. I'm going to have to raise my entire production game if I hope to ever make this machine sweat. And the confidence and the relaxation of just knowing that I have a machine that is going to do exactly what I need right when I need it to do it is worth $5,000 to me. A lot of people were asking me in the comments, if I'm so down on Apple when it comes to the new iPhones, then how could I turn around and support Apple by buying this incredibly expensive machine? And quite frankly, getting work done, not having to worry about it, being able to be a one-man show and making things happen that need to happen when they happen is exactly why. If you don't have a need for it, the iMac Pro is not for everyone. For most people, you know, the mid-range iMacs would be more than enough. For most people, the MacBook Pros that are reasonably priced would be more than enough. For most people, PC laptops or desktops would be fine. But for me, I just kept running into problem after problem after problem. And finally, I threw money at the problem, and to this point, it seems to be solved. Is it too much money regardless of anything, or is it a justified purchase because of what I needed to do with it? Let me know down in the comments. I really do appreciate it. So thank you so much for being here. If this was your first time here and you want to come back again and do all those things, you can hit subscribe. You can hit the bell notification icon and tell it to let you know when everything happens on this channel. If you're interested in any merch, I got t-shirt links down there. I got music and novel and all kinds of the gear that I use, all linked down below in the description. You can check that out and let me know if you have any questions about any of that stuff. I'll be happy to help out. Once again, my name is Jason, sometimes known as the JTL. This is Painfully Honest Tech. Tech so honest it hurts. Until the next time, I'm out.